All right. Well, maybe we should just do the easy stuff first while we're waiting for Micheline to join us and Jen. So why don't we approve the minutes from March 4th? Oh, do we?
I'll make a motion to approve the building committee meeting minutes of.
Oh, look at that, March
I
44th.
know I was gonna say
Whoops. I'll fix that and send you a copy.
March 4th. I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So we're gonna skip number 1 until Tim gets here. And so we're looking at this brochure that we would like to hand up at the informational meeting. So the informational meeting is going to be on the 25th, which is March 25th, 200. And I'm 90% positive it's gonna be in the COA. And what was discussed last night at the select board meeting is, although it would be great to have it in West Street building so people can see the building and because of our interim TA and our incoming TA both walked the building a couple days ago, and we're very pleasantly surprised when we've got into the building because the outside of the building does not
Reflect.
the inside, the size of the rooms and the condition of the building. And so they were a little blown away, apparently. And they said, oh, maybe you can have your info meeting in here. But I think for liability reasons, we're not gonna do that, but instead we're gonna have Shecam, who I invited to the meeting, go through the building and videotape it, and then have somebody on the committee narrate that videotape as to a simple narration. Like, this is gonna go here and this is gonna go there, like, and then we'll present that at the informational meeting and have that also available beforehand and at town meeting.
I think that's a great idea. If we can't actually get them in that building.
Well, I got the impression last night at the select board, it was done topic. I'm not really sure I think the liability issue of, because that building still has stuff in it. and
Right.
You don't want people walking through the rooms. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think? Do you think videotaping it is a
Yeah.
good alternative?
Absolutely, so they can see what's inside. So it's not like kept a secret. I think it'd be a great idea.
Well, it's probably better than doing physical walkthroughs. You have to do it in groups. People tend to chat. They don't hear what's being discussed.
Is that the,
This way you're able to collect. I can sit all at once here on the same thing.
True.
So, yeah,
So with that being said, I'll invite GCAM to discuss what their thoughts are on that.
Absolutely, yeah. Hi, folks.
There.
Hi, Nick Cohen, the director of GCAM. I've met most of you, but the big thing we would need is someone who knows what's going on, who can tell us about the building and sort of walk us through what you actually want this video to look like in the end, what you want to convey. Other than that, I'd say if this is something we could do in a little breakout group and get set up in a couple weeks.
Well, a couple weeks. I mean, the meeting is the 25th, so it'll have to be set up relatively quickly, I would imagine.
So do you want it by the meeting, or do you want it before the meeting?
Before, so we can review it, yes?
Before so you can review it?
Well, yeah, before the meeting, so, but we'd also probably post it on the website.
Mhm.
It could be a day before the meeting, as long as it's out there.
Okay.
Oh, no charge. As long as it's out there,
I would say post it after the meeting.
okay. I get it.
So have it at the informational meeting, but then post it online afterwards.
Okay.
So then it would need to be done by the 25th.
So by the 25th, but we'd also want time so y'all can review it.
And someone needs to narrate it, unless somebody walks around with you and narrates it. I don't know. I will not, if it's next week, I will not be here to do that. So someone else has to volunteer to narrate it.
Okay.
What would be easier for you? To have someone with you when you're walking through the building? I mean, besides showing you how to walk through the building.
Mhm.
Would
That would be easier for me. Having someone there to narrate each room and go, here's what's going on here. That'll make the production process a lot quicker. There's a lot less to contend with and plan for. It's just sort of cutting together what it is that y'all have to say. It'd also be really helpful just as a like, okay, this is definitely getting across what y'all want. And it's not just like us sitting in a room going, well, I think this is the thing they want, you know?
All right. So who do you think would be best to narrate that? Would it be better to have the architect of the building and narrate it, or one of us?
Who's gonna talk, who's gonna present the project at town meeting, understanding that it's not you?
Chief, probably.
So
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't ever like to.
Chief will discuss it,
Yeah,
but I don't know who on the select board, if they're going to present it other than presenting the motion. I don't know if they're gonna have any.
so I would just say that from a continuity standpoint, it may make sense for whoever is going to introduce and or present the project to town meeting would be the same voice on the video, for continuity's sake.
Jim, you gonna say something?
I don't think we need to make that decision tonight. We'll schedule it and one of us will do the narrative. We'll narrate it.
All right. So when do you think, what's a good time for you? Because we also need time to get into the building and clean it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Meaning, because there's storage in some of the rooms that would have to just,
Early or mid next week would be good for me. I'm not getting internet in here, so I can't check my shift schedule. But generally, I think Wednesday would be the best day for me to do it.
which would be the 19th.
The 19th, yeah. And then that's, let's see. So the 25th, that's Monday, when the
The 25th, Tuesday.
Tuesday. Great. Okay. So that gives us a little under a week to edit it. Maybe half a week. Oh, great. Oh, yeah, it's a
Do you wanna-
schedule.
There's a Wi-Fi here.
There's a way.
There's no Wi-Fi. Oh, I'm on Xfinity.
Oh wait, you know what? There's a Wi-Fi. Public safety complex. I knew I'd seen that somewhere. Just there we go. Strange.
We just got a call.
um,
Not working?
no, hold on one sec. 259 gas tax. Okay, yeah. There we go. Okay.
Here, Tim's
Tim.
here.
Okay, right. So next week, Tuesday. Tuesday, I could do the afternoon. Do like anytime noon to 3. Wednesday, I could do anytime like 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. It would be better to do while there's like more light.
Like, yeah,
I could do later. I don't think I could do past Thursday.
I'm sure that'll work.
Yeah. Cool.
So we will get back to you with who's going to meet you there and narrate that.
Yeah.
Just so you know, for the informational meeting, we're gonna have a video
Okay,
of the building
okay,
and someone narrating it.
cool.
So I can get an idea.
So Peg is a GCAM person,
Nice to meet you.
and she'll be walking around with somebody
Perfect.
who's gonna be narrating.
So I can get an idea of format of this video. Do y'all want to display statistics, metrics, I don't know, photos of 3D models, things like that? Or is this just someone narrating?
No, I think it'd just be somebody walking through the building saying, this is going to be the cafeteria, where we're gonna be sharing it with the COA and for town elections.
Great. Yeah.
This hall right here will be all the municipal offices, over here will be the TA. I don't think anything more detailed.
We could give you a copy of the floor plan,
Right.
and you could kind of make a still shot of it, and you can keep inserting it with an
As you
for something.
That
As
sounds
you go
great.
through the space. And then when we talk about the exterior of the building and the improvements to the parking lot areas, we can show you the exterior rendering of the front entrance as it would be.
Maybe these two things.
Yeah, that's totally cool. Okay. If y'all could get these to me before we shoot,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
I will send these
Do you want them would you prefer them as a image format or a PDF or
An image would be good.
image format? Okay, because right now
The one's a PDF,
one's
one's
a
an image.
PDF, yeah, so we.
Because one of them wouldn't go, well, I couldn't forward one of them, giving
Okay.
the email, so, so if you just send me both as images, I'll forward it.
Could you render the floor plan in like a really high resolution, like 4K or something?
Yeah, essentially what
Yeah.
this is we can, since it's a vector format,
Great. Or
we can essentially take the PDF and as long as we save it to a PNG or a TIFF,
Mhm.
it should be lossless then at that point.
Perfect. Okay. Cool.
So let me make note of that.
That's a whole other language.
Nope, I could tell he knew.
That's later.
Yeah, perfect.
Then you have Kite's email?
Perfect.
Cool.
All right,
Okay.
you all set?
That's it.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so, so now going back to the, flyer. That's in draft form still. Just to get the committee's input. So the first page is pretty much the history, what we, how we got here, what we got town meeting. Originally, no, okay. The second page is what we've done as a committee since then. So this number here, this 15.6 million, is gonna change, I imagine, when we go through today's alternates and value engineering decisions.
Right.
So I'm gonna need to get a
Well, and
more,
I think the intent is you still use this number, Because the intent is everything that we're doing from a cost savings standpoint, as well as alternates, is to make sure, hopefully, knock on wood, the numbers come in well below anyways.
Mhm.
But part of the reasoning for doing alternates and any cost savings right now is to make absolutely sure they fall below that number. Because that's the goal.
All right,
So that's why I would recommend for now, we stick to that number. Because we're holding that as our high water mark.
so the 15.9 number is the full scope with the, 15.6 is the full scope with the
With
1.2.
The alternate. And that's the question is in terms of the 1.2 on the other side. If that wants to be finagled a little bit, could, but I think again, I would hold to the 15.6 as your high water. So that it's understood that this is the highest it'll ever be. We're working to make sure it's below that number.
Okay,
As opposed to risking that we drop it now.
and then, all right. After writing the second paragraph here about what the cost includes, kind of like what you wrote in the RFQs. But if you guys think that that's it, like, it's kind of hard to write when we don't know if we're gonna do abating the entire building. So abating the entire building, replacement windows, required fire suppression, is that, how do you write that when it's gonna be definitely done in the occupied section? What do you call the upstairs section that we're doing?
Capacity for future expansion.
Which capacity for, yeah. Because that's essentially how,
I mean,
literally what we're doing.
required accessibility. Is ventilation okay to use, or do I have to say mechanical, whatever? Okay.
Yeah,
And electrical services upgrades, space for a community heating and cooling center, and town elections. Because I believe that everything else after that, meaning everything else that I didn't say, like town meeting, that'll eventually be held there upstairs in the meeting room, right?
Mhm.
We can't hold town meeting, I don't think in the cafeteria there. I don't think it holds enough people. I don't know though. Hence why I said it is intended to eventually have space for town meetings, a commercial community kitchen for food security. I mean, if we get a grant before we finish the building, then it'll be ready, but,
Right.
Right.
and a recreation center for the town. So the 9.9 million then is the 15.6 million minus what we got already from the special town meeting. So really, we're going to town meeting asking for approximately 9.9 million. And then there's gonna be varying funds, cash reserves, municipal building stabilization, and borrowing. I have not seen the warrant, hasn't been drafted yet, so I don't know what it actually says.
When you were talking about the warrant, do you want to have it like 3 different ones? So-
Well, I was thinking about, I was thinking about our special town meeting when we got the 5 point whatever approved. It was written as one big article and spiked out where it was coming from. I think that's the way it might be. And then if somebody doesn't want it to come out of municipal building stabilization, then there'll be an amendment on that to delete that. It's
And add it to the debt exclusion.
I mean, I know that's really up to interim TA and the lawyer, town lawyer, how it's gonna be drafted. But I haven't seen it yet, but I'm assuming it's gonna be all one. That's gonna say 9.9 million from these sources. 6.5 borrowing, 1 million from municipal building and 1 million from free cash, from reserves, free cash, but we have to have that certified before the meeting. It's not certified yet, so that might not even be available,
He's working on it.
but it might be. All right. Moving forward to, I think, what, dimension and valuing, I'm not really sure what that heading meant, but I kept it, because that's what you guys sent. So Neil's suggestion was, great that your municipal offices want 60 million, but that doesn't make sense, are we only giving the COA 6,000 square feet?
I wish I had read their paper, I had all those numbers on it.
Then we'll know that, this head.
No, I want to say, if I remember correctly, I want to say this portion here was around
Was it 10,000?
95,
Yeah,
somewhere around there. I can verify that number.
so,
Does anyone have Nelly's, subject?
Yeah.
The paper gave us.
yeah. I'll go there actually. Um. I guess, I don't know, the municipal office space currently requires approximately 16,000 square feet. I guess the point of this paragraph was to show how West Street is plenty big for everything. And current annex and Carnegie Library is not enough square footage for our offices.
Right.
I think that was the point of this column, but if you guys don't think it's necessary, maybe this dimensions and valuing.
But the Carnegie doesn't provide enough or adequate space. Nothing really like that building right there, or, West Street, is the adequate amount of space to do what we're doing in the beginning, have expansion. Everybody wants a space in the whole town. It'd be whatever, but we have the room at this particular time to expand with this building here. The other buildings,
So that's your point here. That's your point with this column.
yes, that's the point.
Okay.
I mean, you're looking at growth.
Well, not only growth, but right sizing, because the spaces you're in, particularly in the annex, are not to suit at all what they're used for. They're crammed in there like sardines.
Yes, they are.
Not that you want to use them.
The question's gonna come up, why can't we do this? Why can't we use the Carnegie? Why can't we buy the building? Because it's not suitable now.
Precisely.
Right.
Well, that discussion was last night too at the select board meeting. And they're looking into the ability to purchase it.
Purchase it, but it's not gonna solve our problem.
Right.
Precisely. You need
Do you want to add a bullet that says something to that effect?
Yes.
That these buildings are not the correct sizing for the function.
It's inadequate space based on the survey we did with each of the departments.
Yeah, and I can pull up the program numbers as well. So town hall, I have 12,900, and for senior center or council on aging, 9,400 as the square feet. And then
So that the municipal office space currently required is approximately 16,000 square feet.
So it should be approximately 12.
Well-
I'd say approximately 13.
There's a difference between what they need and what they're getting. So
Right. So, hang on, let me go back to the program. I can tell you
well,
that
we're using storage downstairs.
additionally. Yeah.
So some of this. Hi.
Wait. Oh, it'll be a while.
Okay.
Okay. We gotta clean this up.
Yeah. I think just adding a sentence at the bottom that says, with even less parking, these are inadequate for.
Yeah, we did a needs assessment.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't,
Right.
what, this,
Which,
For
if you
town
wanted
needs.
to even say combined needs assessment for COA and municipal offices, we need 21,000 square feet. That's where we landed with the program.
Versus what do we have now? What are we operating on now?
Yeah.
And we add Carnegie Hall to it. What is that?
Do we even approach that?
Well, it's gonna come up.
Carnegie Hall is 1,200 square feet. Don't trust me.
What's the COA now?
That's not here. I don't know where Micheline got these numbers.
So that,
I have
That question-
1,405 square feet for the annex and 1,200 square feet for the Carnegie. I don't know what the current COA is.
Let me look
So-
up to see if it's on the assessor.
So this first bullet should be changed to the municipal office space and COA space requirements
Yes.
are greater than 20,000.
There goes.
I'm just saying, when the question comes up, if we buy the annex and we use the Carnegie Hall,
You're still gonna have a big deficit.
we're still shy of X amount of square feet.
That's present, never mind future growth.
That's,
Where we'll have that space at the West Street building.
Yeah, so whatever's not in this brochure can be part of the presentation, which is gonna be sweet and short. Because they have everything in the brochure, I think, but, all right, so you're looking up the dimensions of the current,
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find it. If it's online, it might be. Might not be since it's public building. Sometimes they not.
I don't imagine somewhere around 4,000 or 5,000 square feet, I think.
That sounds.
For the annex,
that sounds.
No,
Or
for
COA.
COA.
the way,
Sounds familiar. And the annex can't be more than
1,400.
1,400 and then another 1,200. So we're not even half of what was required during the needs assessment. Okay.
Building.
And the needs assessment did not, it wasn't we pushed back on a lot of what
They wanted.
they wanted.
Yeah.
right,
We did, we shrunk them from what they wanted.
These were conservative.
Building area, I think that's what this is, yes, building area, 7728. According to the, GIS.
and that's for the COA.
It's not much.
Yeah, it seems higher than I would have thought.
Really,
It's gotta be two floors though.
it's 2
Yeah,
floors
it's
and that
counting-
little,
it's
little
counting
addition. It has that little
Oh, yeah, that's right.
addition, so,
Okay, all right, that, I didn't. Think of it.
okay, so
Yeah,
we can
it's all-
add that to this last bullet.
Which is still,
Still low.
Yeah.
7,000 plus 26,000, so
and
we currently have 10,000 square feet of space for all the municipal offices in COA versus then 22,000.
And it does not, but by doing this, it will not address meeting space that's used by all the departments.
Yeah, if they share these spaces.
or the security concerns.
Or accessibility. Because you got issues in various buildings. Granted, some, at least the annex in particular, there are areas of that that are not accessible at all. I don't know about Carnegie,
But
but even still.
where's planning, conservation, everybody, where do they meet? Where's all that?
Right, they, what, Old Carnegie, right?
Precisely, I mean, there's, when you talk about space that is adequate for the needs of the town, that's what we have to work on, not buying some building that is already inadequate.
And that we didn't buy 3 years ago
Mm-hmm,
or 4 years ago for a variety of reasons
mm-hmm,
that the town came up with. This building is not sufficient for our needs.
precisely.
But now it is because we're and a rock and a hard place.
And then we're back to the same question. What do we do with West Street? If, if, if they think they could put everything in these other buildings, what do you do with West Street? It's gotta come down,
Right.
That's what I was gonna just say.
which means you gotta spend X amount for the abatement and.
Right.
I was gonna say, just total it, just destroy it.
What would it cost? Do you have any idea what it would cost approximately
To tear it down.
Yeah.
I know that was included in one of the original studies. There was another.
Oh, I have that. I have the numbers right here.
Right,
Because I think that was
Somewhere in that
pre-COVID.
vicinity. Because I remember talking about the
yeah,
roof.
twenty
We
eighteen.
haven't paid for the roof yet. Which still, that's still at the bottom.
The cost of the abatement, you know, change.
Yeah, it should be about the same. All of the building together for abatement is roughly just shy of $1 million.
Well, our study done in
Current costs.
23, it was about 1.3.
So you're probably hitting your head against close to 2 million by the time you're all done with the site work.
Mhm. Tear it down.
All right, so I'll add that to that page. Or somebody will. Okay. Next page. I guess the point of this was just to show what's going into it.
Yes,
I think if we had to, we could just do something else here if we need something else. Because this is just reiterating what's in the first paragraph and first column and the second column, if we need space for more information. But for example, the column over here, how much will my taxes go up? Will they go up? We need,
so that's gonna be a different sheet, because we asked Steve too to make it more definitive, to more information on how much it would go
I don't know,
up.
it depends on what he gives us for information.
You could always attach.
Yeah.
You could say, estimate of the
PNC
increase,
attachment.
X number of dollars per thousand, per thousand valuation. See attached, table, and then you could do your table analysis and
Yeah.
get 4 or 5 different values for median homes and.
So that being said, we have in Granby, the average value of a single family home is $407.31. The median value is $357,700.
You say 350?
Yeah, the median is 357,700. And the average is $400,007.31. So then looking at Steve's chart, which was a rough chart, obviously, and it was even at 5%, which he said we're gonna get lower than that. If you're 350, it's 173 a year. If you're 450, it's 223 a year. That's still less than 50 cents a day. But that's if we're borrowing 6.5. I don't, that's the
Yeah, that's the
question.
question.
So maybe he needs to give us this chart with
An update. He needs, to,
he'll update us, I'm sure.
Well, doesn't he have 8 on there too?
He does have 8 million,
Yeah.
but that number's even a little off. Cause we're asking for whatever, what I say,
9.6, I think.
yes. So 9.6 is the number if we don't get municipal funds and if we don't get, so this number should be the worst case scenario. If we have to borrow 9.6, that's what this number should be. So it'd be a little higher than, see, 450 comes to 320, or 5% rate, 275. And at 350, it's 213. Still, as he said, a great value for what you're getting. All right, okay, so we can add chart to pamphlet. And then,
You might wanna make that, how much will my taxes go up, make that the whole slide.
make that what?
The whole.
Its whole slide. One whole image.
Yeah.
Just based on the finances of the project.
Right, but it'll be an attachment.
Well, yeah, just like not with anything else on the page.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so take this away from here and make it its own page.
Its own thing.
It's gonna be the focal.
It's gonna be the only thing they see on the page wherever it goes.
As opposed to keeping this in here and saying, see
Yeah.
the attached, okay. Okay. So a lot of questions have been asked about why didn't we do this in 2018? Should have been done. So that's why this is in here. Just like, doesn't matter why it wasn't done. We don't know why it wasn't done. It just wasn't done. Move on. We can't do anything about it. And then the last page talks about why the project has increased and what we've done in West Street building since December of 23. So that's the easier side. We moved the underground oil tank. Should we put there no problems? So people know it didn't leak?
Yeah, I think
You could say just successful removal.
And then someone can ask, what does that mean? Okay.
Become a talking point.
Maintenance of grounds to reduce water damage. That's both inside and outside the building, right? We pulled out those bushes.
Yep.
Storage for town. And venting and cleaning for air quality. That's what's been done inside the building, other than what this committee has done. All right, and then, before I go to why projects increased, we don't have to add these renderings to the pamphlet. We can, it's gonna be a hefty packet, or these can just be bigger
Posted somewhere.
and posted as you walk in, like poster boards.
I realize that, but I'd rather have those in here. Because somebody can't, I didn't see it.
Mm.
I'd rather just have that added to this. That's my
Maybe-
opinion.
Maybe we shrink this to a smaller size, but just because this is gonna be a 6-page pamphlet. Do we have a budget? The select board has a budget for all this?
No.
Coming out of the building here, but I think this needs to be in there as is.
That size?
Because when you flip through it, someone wants to go back and reference something.
Oh, okay.
It's a.
Okay, so we'll add. So the thing about this. So you have the senior center over here, the senior center offices.
Yep.
What
Yeah,
are we calling the
maybe.
orange?
Gym and multi-purpose is what we were doing, but to your point, maybe we wanna change this.
Hmm.
Think of how.
Um,
To go back to when we did the programming, what we've done is we've done it as a stripe. And we could call it out a shared space instead. For those two spaces, the gym and the multi-purpose.
Gathering spaces.
So you think offices all one color, shaded area for mixed use?
Or do, well,
And
the
then
question
another color
is,
for
senior,
Senior center.
well, do you want the departments called out, I guess is the question.
call them out, but I just keep,
Not color code,
just keep it all offices.
so town offices. You were saying public space or public,
Yeah, but then you can't tell where the space ends, where's the town collector space in, and these 3 committees come in if you're not dual color. I think this is easier to read for people who don't know how to read.
well, and that's what we
Yes.
were really trying to do is make it so it was graphic, so that someone who's
Yeah.
not familiar.
But it's just this area, this looks like, oh, they're getting
Yeah.
hit, and they're not, because this area is theirs also.
Well, and what we had done back in programming is we can literally stripe this with
Yeah,
the
right.
orange and the green. So that way kind of splices the two together.
Yeah,
I would almost argue that you should do the same for the meeting
yes,
rooms.
I agree.
Yes.
Any meeting space that's gonna be public or publicly used,
Mhm.
municipal offices should read that way. as well.
Yep.
Shared space.
And then maybe something different for mechanical
So,
rooms or,
shared space, yeah.
and then mechanical, electrical.
Yeah.
Like that's not public space, so maybe that gets shaded differently.
Yeah, those are all gray.
And, can you tag the cafeteria?
The kitchen, you mean?
Yeah. That's what I meant.
I saw you pointing at it.
What comes out of my mouth and what's in my head are two different things. So-
I understood.
All right, so then we'll attach these as, so this one's the ping file.
Yes.
I had to shrink it to get it on the page. Can you send a file that has of what this is? Outdoor, I don't know what you call this. What is this?
Front entrance.
Front entry, rendering. So,
It's kind of obvious, I know, but
do you want it like, I guess my question is, do you want it formatted for a specific size? Because we can save it down to a size for
Yeah.
specifically what you want.
it would be, I mean, this isn't gonna be folded, it's gonna come out like this. I remember. I mean, I anticipated this,
Is that actually a rectangle? Should be in the back.
Yeah, I did too.
but it's not, and it's okay, because the way it is, it's
The
like,
way it's laid out, it's actually really good.
Yes,
I
I-
appreciate
yes.
it.
That's exactly
yes,
true.
so I think,
I know.
You're not changing this, changing up the boilers.
what's the rectangle here?
That's the chimney.
Oh,
Over the boiler room.
You see if I've got.
The old boiler.
Yeah, that's right.
can I spread out anymore?
That looks very exciting, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Really just trying to get closer to the.
I'm gonna take one. I'm gonna celebrate, so. All right. So you'll send something that's gonna look good in an 8x11 stapled.
Mm-hmm. Do you want this, does it matter if this is formatted where if you're holding it like this, do you want it formatted or do you care?
No, I think, you know.
Give them to it as big as it can.
Yes. And as for this one, I think it's okay as is, but I don't know, what do you think? Well, you're gonna change it anyways.
Yeah,
But what
I'm
you
gonna
send me
change
is gonna be.
Yeah.
Fine.
yeah, we'll just have them both formatted. I'll save you one version that's gonna be specific for this, which will be sized appropriately for 8.5 by 11. And then I'll do a high quality, which will be the one that you send for the video. That'll
Oh, okay. Yep.
Should be marked to the front. This is what
entry.
we're calling the entry.
Yep.
Yeah.
This one, otherwise people are gonna be trying to figure out what's what.
In addition to this in the pamphlet, do we need a big rendering of this? We need it for town meeting, for sure. A big poster
For now,
board.
yeah.
But for the informational meeting,
No, that's adequate.
So you're saying for the town meeting, the 31st, the one.
but no, so, okay, I'll go to that before we go to this section.
Okay,
Town meeting is now April 8th.
April 8th, okay.
We can't meet the 31st because that means the warrant had to be signed yesterday and it hasn't been drafted. So it's a Tuesday night, April 8th.
Mm-hmm. And then we're doing the public
Info session,
Info.
March 25th. 25th,
25th, it's Tuesday. Okay.
yes.
Sorry, I have.
That's okay.
Dates are all over the place.
So we're gonna have that publicized on the website and in the paper, or wherever else we normally publicize things. We'll talk to Kathy about
Yep.
that.
So Tuesday, March 25th and Tuesday, April 8th.
Yep, so at 6:30, I imagine will be both. I'm not positive about the town meeting. That's probably 7th. All right. So now going back to the pamphlets. Why has the project cost increased? So our lovely OPM sent some bullet points as to what changed from when we did our cost analysis without money and had our bidders come in. And Tim has volunteered to put together a chart for us to show people, or maybe it's a talking point, I don't know yet till I see
Yeah, we'll see what I come up with,
what we estimated, what it actually came out to be, which is
as
pretty.
well as looking at what's in the estimate and the whole on the other side is the idea, which we can always edit it out for it to read. But the idea being you have all of the scope that we have ultimately in the estimate, it's gonna be absent in certain areas on your original estimate and then filled in on the other column.
Right. So for example, we did not have electrical in here.
If,
I wouldn't go so far to say we didn't have electrical.
Yeah.
We didn't have
Yeah, we
service
didn't have
upgrades.
certain,
Well, we had sprinkler, windows, HVAC, which was asbestos removal, PCB removal, miscellaneous. That's where we put our electrical. We didn't get a.
it was lumped in.
Yeah, it was like contingency under miscellaneous, our water system, and then we had our fees. And it all made sense with what we had until we had to hire two a year.
you know, it's our fault.
Uh-huh. And, yeah. Thanks, guys. All right, so,
So the question is, do you want something that directly correlates line for line what was in versus what was out? Or do you want to deal with it in large numbers?
I'd summarize it. We're not gonna spend the night time.
I personally would like to see what it looks like, line for line, and then
Then
decide how we're going
condense it.
to. I don't think it's gonna be printed and put to the pamphlet. It's there for us to understand so we can talk about it.
Like that, by
More
special-
internal information for the committee.
Well, again,
a breakdown.
yeah, it's just,
I just don't wanna, for our purpose, fine. To be dwelling on it at
Right.
any of the meetings is a waste of everybody's time.
Except that's a big problem.
Yeah, right.
With people thinking that we knew this was wrong. People think that we lied to them in December. Well, I don't know why they would think that,
They
because
think that we did.
we are getting nothing out of this building that they're not getting. It's, whatever we're getting, you're getting, and we're getting no financial interest or nothing. So it doesn't make any sense, but that's the perception out there, that we hoodwinked people to get this through. And we knew down the line, we'd be coming back for more money and a debt exclusion. And I personally have an issue with that, because that is not how I operate. That's how nobody on this committee operates. So
But that is the biggest thing that people are saying right now.
Well, they can think that, but that's not
Right.
what took place.
We know that.
And we didn't spend all this time, week after week, multiple meetings, to be wasting our time either. The fact is that numbers increase for the reasons that we've got listed. And we weren't gonna go any further if the oil tank wasn't gonna come out as
clean.
clean as it did,
Right.
right? That could have blown the whole project right there.
Yep. Agreed.
So it's, that
So I think-
perception is wrong.
It is
It
wrong,
is.
but somehow we gotta get that across. So if we have that information internally, hey, listen, what we budgeted for sprinkler was pretty much correct. Even though that was 2.5 years ago, we're good there, but there's other things that happened. So going to why the project cost increased. So the square footage increased. Very true. So when we went to the town, it was 1,700 square feet. I'm sorry, 17,000 square feet, and now it's 22,000 square feet, which is 30% of an increase.
and the 22,000 square feet is driven by the program that was
After reductions.
completed by the design team and the OPM and the building community.
Yes.
Using best practice.
Oh, yeah, due to
And
updated
industry
programming.
standards.
Again, updating programming, industry standards, however you want to phrase it, the idea is it's not a pie in the sky number. It's a number that was derived from programming and then further refined and reduced to best match what was available in the building.
Okay. Ooh, that handwriting. Okay. Number 2, building upgrades required to meet current building code requirements for accessibility. So because we triggered 30% of the appraised value, the entire facility has to be upgraded. Now, to meet current codes for accessibility. So that includes door sizes and hardware, things that we didn't really think about. Door sizes and hardware, accessible sidewalks, which we kind of knew. All building entries and building egresses. Unfortunately, I think that when we started this project, we were told that accessibility wasn't gonna be an option, right? Didn't the building inspector?
Wasn't gonna be an
It
issue.
wasn't gonna be an issue.
Yeah, didn't think it'd be an issue, so that was a new,
Yeah, the only way that would have happened is if you stayed below 30%, and the reality of the matter is because your entries aren't compliant right now, you would have had to stay below 100,000, which would never have happened.
so and the building is assessed at such a low value.
It's assessed at about $1 million, I think, if I remember correctly.
So that was a big cost. Upgrades required to meet current energy codes. There's no way that we would have known that as a committee,
Right.
so that was a big cost.
And you can further tell them that there'll be a new code that goes into effect on July 1st. And if we don't get this building permitted under is it right, is it July 1st? Or is it January 1st?
It might be January.
So it's already past that line.
So
I'll double check, but I'm pretty.
No, I think you're right. I think it was January. I think last July it was
Yes.
pushed to January. But I think now we're in 10th edition.
On energy, I think we are. Building code is still lagging. That's,
So you can verify that. Because I would like, if that's not the case, Tim, I would like to put in another bullet point that says, if you don't act upon this, your energy code compliance cost will increase with the new updated building code in July 1, 2025 or whatever.
we won't be grandfathered in if we start.
No, job has to be permitted.
Okay.
in-
Just letting you know.
Yeah,
Okay, number 4, I know you said to me, check, so I wrote it in here anyways in a way that I thought made sense. Emergency generators. We're installing 2 distinct and separate generators, one for fire suppression, which is,
one on the fire pump.
and one for the building. Oh, I
So-
said one for fire
so-
suppression, but that doesn't make sense. Like, I thought it'd be easier for them to understand. We need it.
It's,
So the
because of
pump,
fires.
the pump itself, because we're doing a diesel pump, it doesn't have a generator because it essentially is a generator.
Okay,
So I don't know how you wanna, or if you
so then
want,
it's not 2.
it's just one generator. And I don't know if we wanna, how we wanna word it.
Because the pump is a generator. 'Cause
It's
diesel.
generating its own power.
yeah.
Yeah,
So then,
yeah. Yeah, the issue is the electrical was a lot more complicated if we actually put in a generator for it.
Yeah, you could change that bullet point, I think, to the requirement for the cisterns and the separate structure
Yeah,
for the fire pump. Right, you guys had a quote from the sprinkler contractor to put sprinkler heads and piping inside the building. But you did not necessarily have an external fire pump
site
and a
infrastructure.
raised area for cistern installation out in the fields.
okay.
Back to the energy code.
Yep.
That's changing July 20th.
I'm double checking.
He's gonna double check that.
What does that mean? What's changing? The last thing I would want to hear is that we're gonna get this building, we gotta get it permitted so that we make today. But once we get started, we're not even gonna meet code, energy code. So we need to know what that is, if it's
What it
even work-
entails, right?
if it doesn't mean anything to us, a few things, whatever, then we don't even talk about it. We're gonna meet the energy Energy codes, did you know that yeah, we knew that, we accounted for it.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's what we need, that's the,
Yeah, I'm just
Question
looking
on
at the
the table.
timing.
What does it mean? What's changing in the energy code?
it's, I think some of the new things are, lighting controls, the requirement for building commissioning. There has to be a requirement that, I don't know if it's triggered by occupancy or whether it's just triggered by non-occupied times, that half of the electrical outlets become inoperable under periods of low energy use. So there's a couple of different things that trigger making a wide overlaying change to the way the outlets are all wired, like distributed in the space.
So it doesn't sound like it's gonna be a major, we should.
Yeah, we should a little bit more surgical in changes. But I'm gonna be digging into that. Find it if I can real quick.
I missed it.
It looks like the latest version stretch effective
So
is what I'm finding. So we have to do it. At least that's what I'm finding. I'm gonna double check it because I'm just doing a quick. This is on mass.gov, so I trust it to just stay there pretty close.
So we just want to make a statement that said to meet current building codes, which would be the 10th edition.
Now, could you shoot me something easy about the cisterns and the pump, and I'll massage it again?
Yep.
Thank you.
She said massage, so I was trying to be funny right now. Cause I'm a little rusty.
All right, so we'll find out about that. And then market conditions, number 5. So, market's constantly changing, construction prices estimated between 4 to 6% per year, year over year since the pandemic. Labor shortages have reduced the numbers of potential bidders, leading to less competition and higher. And, yeah. But that's fine. The easiest way of stating why the costs have increased. You guys good with that? All right. So then, so the back will be the 2 pictures.
Check from,
I don't have, where's the picture of?
that's there, right there.
Oh, okay. And, then we're gonna add a chart from Steve, or I don't know, we can do that chart, but we'll get a chart
The financing.
for the financing. So this will be massaged a little bit more and changed a little bit, but it'll be ready for the 25th.
25th.
So for the,
And the town,
informational meeting. We're also gonna have a video of the building for the informational meeting. That's gonna be narrated probably by Chief. He's gonna walk around. Chief.
okay,
Okay,
By the way, Chief doesn't know
April
that.
8th.
no, but he won't have
You're
it.
not showing up?
He won't have it. Right.
Okay, the town meeting.
If anybody wants to do it, but step forward, please do. I will not be here next week, so I cannot do it.
Well, I'll probably be there as well.
Perfect.
Whether I do it or he does it.
Right.
Better if he does it,
All right,
but, worst case scenario.
all right,
Okay,
perfect.
thank you.
Okay, oh, and the special town meeting date is April 8th.
Okay.
Okay, so now,
Information was what day?
25th, March 25th.
Okay. Didn't hear.
now let's go back. So we did number 2, the documentation. Why don't we go back to number 1? Tim has made it, talk about the value engineering measures to include, which, that's in your stuff.
Yeah, it's right after that.
Oh, no, it's not. What's the next thing in this paperwork is the, option A or option B for the TA. So it's the PDF,
Yes.
so it's actually new business.
Yep.
On this pages?
Yeah, that's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
What's okay? Everybody was sent it. Okay, so 2A, so, go ahead, Tim, I'll let you.
So essentially what that is showing is reworking the town administration wing just to make sure that we have that general corner is where we want to bring in the line for the sprinkler, the riser, from an efficiency standpoint so that we aren't tearing up too much of the fabric of the existing building. It wants to be through and directly through an exterior wall. We got the size from the engineer. So essentially what we've done with massaging that floor plan is fit that in, kind of reshuffled the rooms a little bit. Seems to fit fairly well. The only question, and I don't have it in front of me, so I'm gonna go over your shoulder.
Oh, sure, here, you can have a,
Oh, have an extra?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So the first one is what we started with without the sprinkler riser room.
Right.
And then the second and the third one are basically variations on the theme, which the question is, would you want or need the meeting room to be accessed via the suite that is the town administration offices? Or it could be accessed off of
By
the
public.
corridor, and then it's more of a shared space.
so
I see.
I first thought I liked 2 first because it was accessed by the camera, but then I just realized on our plan, that's not intended to be public space.
It wasn't originally.
Right, because there was supposed to be a meeting with him and.
Privacy,
Yeah.
Allows,
in which case then,
then you'd be
The
three.
veterans also, yeah, the privacy for veterans.
so, I mean, I think it'd be kind of funny for the TA to come out of their office into the hallway to get to
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
meeting room.
Well, and the other option that we had thrown out and between Sean and I is you could also make, and this is a question of, do you want that to be a truly private office and make sure it's somewhat access controlled? Or you could potentially have doors in from the corridor and from the TA side.
I would do both
Or,
doors.
I was thinking the same thing when you mentioned it. That way they can use it if they need to.
And, if it needs to be used at night, you can lock the rest of
The rest of that wing. Yep. Okay, so if we move forward with 3, we'll add that door in.
So where's the door going? You lost it. Right.
So
It's good to put another
where
word.
the,
Okay. All right.
which probably should never be used unless no one really ever needs to use this meeting room, but the TA or the veterans.
well, and that's the question is if that's the case, then why bother putting the extra door in? Putting the extra door in, the only reason to do it, and the only reason we were thinking and considering option 2 is if that meeting space wants to potentially serve double duty and draw other uses in terms of being more of a shared meeting space.
I think the door from the hallway makes sense from a personnel control and also from a public control, because the receptionist could let somebody in from the corridor, seat them in the conference room and say, the
Right,
TA will be
wait
right with
until
you,
they get in.
as opposed to going all the way down to the office and then
Take
back
them
through
away.
again.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying doing 3 with an extra door
I would do 2.
and make the TA come out down the office
Yeah, that's my
hallway
question.
to get to his meeting
Yeah.
room?
Okay.
I think
This is his office here,
Mhm.
on 84.
Right.
185.
So TA sits here. So in this rendering, he just goes right to the meeting room.
Well,
In this rendering, he comes out to the hallway to go into the
because it's
meeting room.
showing 2 desks.
Yeah, that, don't pay attention to that. I need to update that with Sean.
So it's, to me, it's kind of, it's all kind of wasted space. You got a quarter and a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So it basically increases the sprinkler room area for the riser. If you do it that way, take the door out. Is that what you're trying to say, Jim? Why extend the corridor?
Redesign all this.
Why is there a passageway here, I guess is what you're saying? And even in the first one, we didn't catch it.
Well, the issue is more, we had it more connected in the first one where you could potentially enter, although the space for reception was very tight, so you probably wouldn't want to enter through there. But the part of the issue in question is, do we want to just have these spaces be accessed off of the corridor, which is something that we did toy with. It's just they're larger, but then at least it's part of someone's office. It's less distinct in the sense of this being a department.
You know what I would do? I'd leave it at any one of these rooms, being
Mhm.
bid it that way.
Yeah.
But when the administrator gets on board,
Talk it through with them.
I can see how
They can
how
decide.
they want it to operate.
That
Their
makes
office.
sense.
They may want to flip flop this and put,
They may not want to be as isolated.
they may want to be closer to the reception and I don't know.
I think I like this option the best.
The first option,
Yeah, but I would move
but there's,
door and flip flop the door for the meeting room and this door. Move it further down the hallway so the receptionist has access to the meeting room.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody comes in, they can let them in.
but there's no sprinkler.
That's the issue.
This
There's no
is,
sprinkler room.
This is the original.
Oh, okay.
So it has to be 2 or 3. Or it doesn't have to be, but 2 or 3 is,
but I see what you're saying, that would have been nice because it would have been bigger and went
Right.
right into the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we really made this work by rotating the meeting room
Yeah.
to fit it in here, because it doesn't need windows, because you're probably gonna just have light and be able to turn on, or want to control light anyways for any kind of presentation.
so I understand we have a new TA now, but the whole purpose of having the office way down here was for privacy.
Yeah.
Because of the confidentiality of the conversations that doesn't happen now. So for me, the question would be, does anybody intend on using that meeting room other than the TA? Thank you. That's the question. We don't need it. We have meeting rooms here.
Right.
And if adding an extra door from the hallway is gonna cost us more money,
It will.
then I would say yes, that door. And go for C. What do you think? Or do what Jim said.
Well, if you, either one, it's just one door, one door. You still have to create that wall here, still have to create the wall there. So if we say like Jim, wait till the TA decides which
Yeah,
way
we
they
can
want.
reshuffle the
Cause
room.
it shouldn't make that much of a difference on price because it's either a wall here or a wall there and a door there or a door there.
Right. Yeah, we can shift the rooms around at that point. With it, as long as we aren't completely blasting it open, so to speak.
As far as the admin, the PA's office,
Mm-hmm.
I think his office will be more confidential than HR's.
True.
Why don't we just get rid of the passage and just make those rooms all the way to the hallway?
So if we do that, do we
Yeah.
want to go back to a similar situation where you have right now and you enter the admin office through the admin systems?
I don't,
Because that was part of the discussion, is that role not wanting to have their own space.
Yeah, I don't think you should have to walk through another office to get.
no, I didn't know that you couldn't have a.
Yeah, because
a door.
the
Yeah.
the
'cause stairs
stairwell
are
is there.
I just saw that, okay,
That's the issue, at least on that corner.
yeah.
Okay.
The other spaces, you definitely could do that, but that one in particular.
So we're gonna say build that sprinkler room, but just wait to see how we're gonna put a door.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a 2 or 3,
Okay.
or it could be 3 and 2 rooms.
Keep in mind too, that's sprinkler room. There's gonna be maintenance in there.
Right.
Maintenance is gonna be in and out of here
Right.
for testing,
Mhm.
for whatever reason. multiple times.
Flood right in there too.
Could you bump everything up, move the sprinkler room down to past the admin office? So it's not bothering everybody every time they go in and out? I know.
There's no access to that room from the hallway of the
Right.
application.
Now-
Just drop down.
To your point, what we could do is, if we want to make sure that stays out of it, you move towards option 2 and you do this.
Bring the sprinkler over down
Yep,
The
bring
door?
the door out into the corridor.
and make the door come into the corridor instead of from the hallway.
Say that again?
So this will be closed off here and the
Right.
door will come out here instead.
I
So the person comes in from the hallway to
Yeah.
access the sprinkler system.
Right.
don't think we need to spend a lot of time on this right now. This is,
It's
we're in the weeds right at this point, the whole, this can get figured out. Here. And it's something that the developer wants, maybe turn everything around.
Mhm.
Maybe the conference room goes here, but you may want space in between them.
Yeah, but if you're gonna ask the TA what he wants, you're gonna ask the new town clerk what she wants, or what he wants, or you're gonna ask.
Town administrator, different position.
People want the question. You doing anything, you doing any dry systems?
So we're gonna hold on.
Doing
So.
I think it's just a alarm on the other side.
I'll verify.
I was worried about this person.
Well, and that was part of the reason why we wanted, 2 reasons why we didn't want it on this side of the.
I'm sorry, I missed those
One
pages.
is this
Lynn.
is.
That's okay, this was, everybody got it, I sent it to the whole committee.
One.
Okay.
So I don't know if we got another
Here.
yeah, was this to
Oh,
to make.
At this stage.
4 or 5 copies and people will have it on one. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna table that for now.
So we'll run with one of these at this point.
I don't think this.
There.
Mm-hmm.
Go here, go across the hallway to the. Yeah, shit, the boilers are or somewhere.
So part of that is driven by
Right.
where the pipe wants to enter the building, which is driven by
Yeah, where it's coming in.
where it's coming in. So in an ideal world, it wants to come in. So we talked originally about potentially putting it in the unoccupied portion over here. There's 2 things that are concerning here. One is, well, 3. One is we have a fire rating right here that, yeah, it's not insurmountable, but we can have to go through it right now. One is this space, while it's a condition, is not necessarily as much conditioned as the rest of the building. So we want to risk any warm on breathable pipes. And then the other piece to that is going through all the floors. So this area, and granted, we can try to see if we can get it into the corner maybe, somewhere else. But coming in on this exterior wall is where it wants to come from.
Something. Yep, you don't want, you're concerned about conviction, build a little room, build a
Yeah.
I think though, because the conversation I missed, you remember you asked for dry? For the dry system, if there's one. I believe it was supposed to be, when we do extend it, it's supposed to be still wet
It will be.
because for future.
Mhm.
But I thought it was just alarm. So,
My concern was, as you know, dry sprinkler systems have a compressor.
yes, to keep the pressure up and from the water, air.
Quiet.
They're not quiet and they're not conducive to being put in an area where offices,
Right,
confidentiality and whatnot are needed.
correct.
Not that the compressor's gonna hear anything. It also turns on
Yes, when the pressure starts to decrease, it puts, Mm.
throughout the dry system. That's when the compressor runs. It's not timed, it's completely random.
yeah, it does it whenever the pressure drops and then it's,
Yeah.
Up again. Okay.
So just pick one for now and we'll deal with it later.
One, we're planning, Sean and I, to come out to the building on Friday this week. So we can look as well in the basement to see if we can find a path adjacent. To make that work. So,
So to move this, then?
yep, move
totally
it
out.
essentially to the other side of the admin office.
That's what I was wondering if you put it at the end instead.
Yeah, yeah. The only reason we weren't looking at that is what we can do is we'll just potentially have to add a little bit more heat in that space, just to make sure it's safe. Because that was one of the concerns, and then also just from the standpoint of simplicity of it may cost a little bit more there just because you're coming up from the basement through another floor and through a fire rated wall. It's not
You're gonna have to come in that way. Below frost,
right.
so you're coming in down the basement anyway.
But it's
Well,
not-
there's
it's
no
not-
basement underneath the TA space.
Mm-mm. There's no basement there.
You're still going below frost, but you're not coming up through another floor.
But isn't this a wall right here? And this is upstairs, so you're gonna move the sprinkler room upstairs?
You're gonna
No,
have,
shit.
your sprinkler room is gonna be downstairs, but the riser's gonna come up and then out
Through the wall.
through the wall.
Alright. Moving on to, now you all have the email of the, potential alternatives? Alternates, and then cost savings. That we started talking about last week. And we had paper in front of them, so today we have to do that, we have to prioritize and get that done. So is it easier to do the cost savings first or the alternates?
I don't think it matters.
I think the idea is the alternates, the budget numbers for the alternates should help guide your discussion on prioritizing the alternates.
Right.
The recommended cost savings moving forward are really independent of the alternates.
Okay,
It's two different discussions.
all right, so let's talk about the alternates first. Unoccupied, so the 1.2 abatement of the unoccupied side of the building.
Including the replacement of the windows.
Right. Oh, you know what, I'll let you,
Yep.
yeah, sorry.
So the first one in 1.2 is the abatement of the unoccupied portion of the building, removal and replacement of the windows. I put the note in here about the tunnels below. Based on the discussion last week, it sounds like that's parsing it apart too much. But I just wanted to make it sure that was noted. Ultimately, this savings is likely going to be less than 1.2 based on us doing, granted, it's more from the standpoint of your total number's gonna be less than the 1.2 in terms of cost, just because we are gonna apply the same reduction in window area here. So that'll at least, there'll be some value associated with that, which will help drive that number down.
So 1.2 is high.
1.2 is high, both from the standpoint of if this were accepted as a cost as well as where it ultimately lands. The second one is the clear stories, the high windows in the gym. Whether you do those as a cowl wall system, which is a translucent glazing system, versus just infilling the wall, which is roughly about a value of 60,000 to go up from the wall and fill to the cowl wall.
Okay,
But we don't have the savings
not doing it.
of,
If you do the call, well, it's gonna be 60,000. If you do solid infill.
what's the savings?
So the savings is if you do solid infill,
Mhm.
you save 60.
Yeah.
Because I already worked the cost of the infill
Right.
into, because the cowl wall value, if I remember correctly, was about 90 grand altogether.
Okay,
And so I took out the wall infill, which
So
leaves you
so
about
that- so-
60.
so I'm thinking about it from a bidder's perspective. So
Yeah.
the base bid is to remove the windows entirely
And
and
infill.
fill it with
The wall
An
assembly.
exterior wall assembly.
Correct.
That's base bid.
That's base bid.
Okay, and then if we wanted to eliminate the wall assembly but replace it with cal wall, it's a $6,000 add.
Add. Correct.
All right, gotcha.
Which is more or less how I was thinking through all.
Yep.
Folding partitions. So this may or may not be broken out further, as we had discussed. So total in all is 71,000 for the partitions, plus an additional 7,500 for the structure to hold those partitions with their own.
Hmm.
And you can separate that between the meeting rooms, which are part of the office area, at 24 grand versus the multi-purpose room at approximately 50 grand. If you were to try to peel that into pieces. And then the last one noted here is the tile walls in the bathroom, which is an approximate value of 108,000. I was talking with my interior designer today, and she was saying that FRP in the long run it's going to save you only a marginal amount comparative to tile. But what she was suggesting we do is right now what the estimator carried was all four walls of the bathroom. Let's only do the wet wall, which is going to cut this down to 25% of its value,
Okay.
which will bring it down to in the vicinity of 30K.
That's really more of a VE item to.
Right, and that was kind of the question based on that discussion of, do you just want to move it down to the second bundle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I say yes. What do you guys think?
I'm sorry, the purpose of moving it down again?
So
Because of the cost
essentially,
saving.
instead of having it be an alternate, where you're literally saying, we want it all, but we want to see what the cost is and
Oh, okay.
have a fallback position.
Yeah.
Instead, do we want to just say, yeah, let's just do it?
Yeah,
Just do the wet wall.
yeah, so lower, yeah.
So we're just gonna save.
Yeah.
Save about 70 grand.
No, that's huge, yeah.
So then you're left with the unoccupied portion of the building abatement and windows, the gym clear story windows, and the folding partitions.
So we have to prioritize those now?
Yes. Yes.
You guys, because we moved it to 4:30, but it doesn't seem.
It's easy for you
maybe
guys.
are traveling.
Well, for traveling, 4:30.
Okay,
Okay.
4:30. So Tuesday the 18th at 4:30.
Like I've said before, if you want to do it virtual, then 4 o'clock's fine. But, which is why we've done the 4 o'clock in the past.
Virtual depends on,
What we're talking about.
So,
I may have to do like, be in for a little while and then duck out and then come back in. Like, have another meeting at 5 that night, but I think it's gonna be virtual.
well, so, what would next week be? Making sure that you got your date with the fire, making sure that you have your vault.
Yeah,
Answer.
a lot of it is just
Um,
talk or I think informational.
Is it a-
Go with the pamphlet again, which I can send out to everybody, or you guys can send out to everybody to finalize it. To have, to have it finalized, to then get printed, because right now we're making changes to it. Is our number still 16,
Yes.
even with our,
Yes.
because we are,
We're banking on making sure the number's below that,
okay.
but we want to ask for that so that we are covered.
So
do we need a meeting next week? Is that the question?
I think we need a meeting, because we need to, the pamphlet needs to be finalized by the group.
And then I think we need to be organized and be prepared for the next meeting for the information.
Right.
Oh, which is the following week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Does anybody in particular want to be the speaker at the informational meeting?
Don't look at me. Hmm.
Very cheap.
At the informational meeting?
You're not gonna do that?
No, I'm gonna be there.
You do a great job, Lynn.
Yeah, you do.
Great.
Just trying to go.
Maybe we can teach that.
Yeah.
Okay, back to you.
Well, you know.
That's what I meant.
Being the head of
I think that it's more than me giving a spiel, because I have everything they need in that pamphlet, I believe.
Right.
It's gonna be more of, what are your questions?
Right.
We're
Control
not
the,
here, we are not here to,
So.
Well, do you-
Come in with the paper and.
Yeah, set it up more like a panel.
like we did last time?
but last time I had a spiel.
Well, because nobody was aware of anything.
Right.
People should be way more informed now because of what they're talking about, and everyone knows it's on GCAM, and people are trying to get all the, and we have a lot of supporters who are putting it out there too, saying, watch the GCAM, watch what they're doing, see what's going on, make yourself informed.
That's not going out until after the meeting.
The walkthrough.
The walkthrough, yeah,
But she's saying in general, people have to
Right.
say,
Yes.
I'm watching things on GCAM and trying to clarify for other people who don't watch GCAM, what we've done, what we're doing.
so that way we don't need the big speech and do whatever, we're like, okay, you guys know what's there,
But there's still some people who will be coming
Always.
with no information.
always.
I don't think you should hold back on anything. I think we should give a full overview of the project, soup to nuts.
Yeah, assume they know nothing.
Give it,
Which is what the pamphlet is, but okay.
and that way, we're,
Well, in that case, we just
I would
review
not
it
want to
that way.
be
Yeah.
in a position 2 weeks from now that they're going, well, we haven't heard about this. We were at the informational night, none of this was discussed.
I see,
This is our last shot to get it out,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay,
So I don't think we should cut corners in what we're presenting.
okay. All right,
Where's that gonna be held?
I think it's gonna be, the COA,
mm-hmm.
the COA, again.
We ran out of room last time.
What?
We ran out of room last time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we should anticipate or just,
We didn't run out of room, but you can fit, I think, 300 people in that room.
okay, we'll just prepare for it.
Mm.
Got it.
Anybody, entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:10.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, did we come up with a date for next week?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we said 4:30.
4:30 and
It's 4
the
o'clock, cause I mean, yeah,
Or 4:30.
I don't think,
Well, did we finalize if we want that to be virtual or in person?
that's what I'm trying to,
Yeah.
yeah. So at that meeting, we're gonna, let me go through, but you'll have it beforehand to look at, so you guys can just pretty much say, this needs to have a period, or I think you need to add this for it.
I'm not
So
doing
you
that.
guys could be virtual.
So are we changing the time?
Yeah, I can do 4 o'clock if you want to do that. That makes it better.
4 o'clock,
Better for
fine.
you.
I think 4 o'clock would be fine.
Okay, 4 o'clock it is.
4 o'clock, Tuesday, March 18th.
Yeah.
Oh, here. We'll do it here because,
Okay, makes it easier to do with.
To call in.
Yeah. Okay,
safety conflicts. Great,
so I can call in the morning, make sure that it's available.
okay.
Yeah. Cause usually the chief looks, yeah,
And we'll, send it, reminder, If it's not available, I'll let you guys know. Well, it doesn't matter, because you're
These are
calling
your
in.
future.
We're calling in.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
it's just us.
yeah, all right. Motion to adjourn,
Motion to adjourn.
all in favor?
Aye,
Thank you, so.
thank you.